So now I'm going to talk about maybe the more complicated thing with truth tables, which is how to turn an argument into a truth table. And here we're going to go back to our friends, the turtle, the green turtle, this red sea turtle. We got this green snake, and we have the doggo. So I'm going to go back down over here, and I have a number of different arguments to build truth tables for. And the purpose of building a truth table in this sense is to tell you whether or not an argument is valid or not. Okay. So what you're going to want to do, okay, first you're going to want to put all the premises in, and then you want to have a rightmost row which has the conclusion. Okay. So this argument has one premise. If it's a turtle, then it is it is a turtle and it is green. The conclusion is it is green and it is a turtle. So U and G is true when both G and U are true. And it's false if one or both are false. Likewise with G and U. G and U is true when both G and U are true, and then false when at least one of them is false, right? So here what you see is that the conclusion, G and U, is always true when all the premises are true. Here we only have one premise, so it's pretty easy, right? The premise is only true, right, on the first row, and that's also the only place the conclusion is true. Therefore, all the premises are true when the conclusions are also true, okay? And that tells you that the argument is valid. Because if all the premises of an argument are true and it's valid, then the conclusion should also be true. An argument is invalid if all the premises are true and the conclusion is false under certain circumstances. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, this is a classic argument. This is the disjunctive syllogism. So let's put it in. Okay, we've got U or G. We got not G, and we have U. So here U or G is true when one or both are true, and it is false when both are false. It is not G, okay, is false when G is true, and it is true when G is false, right? Because it's saying not G. Then we get over to U, okay, and U is obviously just going to be the same thing as what we have over here. So we're going to end up with a true, a false, a true, and a false. So let's see if this argument is valid. Okay. So remember what I said, that the conclusion must be true when both premises are true. Okay. And the only instance where both premises are true is this row here, right? Where G is false and U is true. And under that circumstance, U is true. So what we're saying here, right? Either it's a turtle or it's green. Well, it's not green, so therefore it's a turtle. Well, that is true when the the conclusion is going to be true in this case, and both premises are true. So the argument is valid, right? Now and that's called a disjunctive syllogism. So this is a famous valid argument. This argument form is always valid under all circumstances. It might not be sound, right? I mean, you may be talking about, this fourth row, for instance, the premises are going to be false. Okay, so premises could be false, right, in the real world, but the argument could still be valid, right, just formally speaking. So then let's go on to the next one. This is modus ponens, which is also a famous argument form. So we're going to need to fill it in, right? Got U and if U then G. Here we have U and here we have G. Okay, so if it is a total, then it is green. So this is true when it is both total and it is green. It is also true when um, it's false that it's a total. Okay. Now it's false here, right? Because remember, here the antecedent is true and the consequent is false, right? It is a total, but it is not green. So in this case, the sentence is going to be false, and then finally the sentence is true when both parts are false. Okay, and then U and G, we're going to have to basically just copy what we have over there, like before. Right? And so here what we're going to see is, again, this is a valid argument, right? Because here the instance where both premises are true, the conclusion is also true. Now let's go over the next one. If U then G, then if U then G, G therefore U. Okay. Now this is going to look just like up here, except we're switching, right? Here, what was the conclusion is now the second premise. And here, right, what was the second premise is now the conclusion. So let's see if this is valid or invalid. Okay, well, let's look at the first row. Hey, we got two true premises and a true conclusion. Looking good so far. Now let's look at the next row. Ooh, two true premises and a false conclusion. Uh-oh. So this is going to be an invalid argument. This is a classic case of an invalid argument. It's called affirming the consequent. And basically, it would be like saying if it is a total, then it is green. It is green, therefore it is a total. Well, if you have a green snake, right, then it is true that if it's a total, then it is green. But well, you have is obviously not a turtle. So you can't use the fact that it is green to derive the fact that it is a turtle. Now let's go to the next one, U or G. And here we're going to want to do the same thing, right? We're going to want to spell it out. So here it's true in these cases, of false here. Here we get G. So we get true, true, false, false. And finally here we have not U, okay? Which is false, oh, sorry. False, true, false, true. Let's see if this is a valid argument. Well, uh-oh, here on the first row, look, we got two true premises and a false conclusion. So we already know that this is an invalid argument. This is another formal fallacy, a very classic formal fallacy. Based on a misreading of how disjunctions work. So these are some simple sort of arguments which you might be building truth tables out of. I hope these examples helped you a little bit. Let me just review one more time the basic elements. Right here on the right, you have the table, you might say, within the table, which gives you the truth values of the atomic parts, right? Here you have G and you have U, these atomic parts, and all the different possibilities where they might be true or false. Then, right, you have the premises, okay, and you derive whether the premises are true or false based on what the earlier part of the table says. And then finally on the right, you have the conclusion, right? And with all three elements, you should be able to tell whether or not an argument is valid or invalid, as long as you do this properly. So I hope that helps in the future with your endeavors trying to build your truth tables.